Good morning. It is Monday, April 4th, 2022. I'm back here for Daily Shakeup number 514. And today we want to talk about expectations. Nope, not the book Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, a fabulous book, by the way. But I want to talk about expectations at work, expectations in our leadership, in your leadership. Because what I found is we often focus on how big the expectations are. We'll say to someone, I have big expectations for you, or great expectations. Or we'll put what we consider big expectations on people, but often without making it clear to them. And that's the key point today, that while we focus on having big expectations or great expectations, what matters most is the clarity of our expectations. See, we often believe that we've been clear with our people and the teams and everybody around us. But there's often a big gap between the expectations in your head and the expectations experienced or perceived by others. That just happened to me last week. I had some conversations that I thought were very clear with someone about something that needed to be done by Friday morning. It turns out I wasn't that clear. And I have to look at, why wasn't I clear? I've often enjoyed and shared this Dilbert cartoon. And this is how it goes. The boss says, how are you doing on your unspoken objectives? Dilbert says, my what? The boss says, I'm referring to the goals I have in mind that I've never mentioned. How are those going? Dilbert says, I'm totally nailing them. Sound familiar? There's a couple of reasons for these gaps. One is a typical overestimation of ourselves, our communication, and our leadership. Another reason for this gap is that our expectations seem clear in our head. After all, that's where they originated, that we believe they must be just as clear to everyone around us. And third, and this is the most correctable, we often avoid being clear because we've got some resistance, often unconscious, to setting up clear accountability. You see, if I'm not clear with my expectations, then other people can't really be accountable. And if they can't be accountable, then I don't have to hold them accountable. See what I'm getting at? In other words, our lack of clarity of expectations can be a way to avoid doing what needs to be done as a leader, those things that we often shy away from, those direct and honest conversations, those accountability conversations. But of course, this approach doesn't work because people still fail to meet our expectations. You get upset or disappointed, and there's an impact in results, trust, relationships, you name it. A number of years ago, I was working with a client who was really upset with his senior team. The reason, he said, none of them had read a book that he asked them to read. When I asked him the follow-up question of when they were supposed to have read the book, his answer was, well, I didn't really tell them, but they should have known. That's not what leadership is about. And the bottom line is that leaders are clear with their expectations, which serves everything and everyone, and especially your results and your impact. That's it for today. Keep taking care of yourself and everyone around you. And by all means, stay connected.